Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the three key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani.
AOC just called for Donald Trump's impeachment. And there is definitely grounds for impeachment when you try and drag the entire United States into a world war without anybody's consent while going over Congress's head. You can't do that. That is grounds for impeachment.
Left Democrats are sick of mind, hate our country, and actually want to destroy our inner cities. And he told ICE and Homeland Security and the State Department to target these core bases of democratic power.
Oh, this nigga's actually stupid. He's actually fucking stupid. Dog, you were sitting on fucking Truth Social and Twitter the entire fucking day when the shit was happening. That's why the information got leaked. The days leading up, the morning leading up, the entire fucking day, you were tweeting your fucking fingers away. That's what you were using. You were using your thumbs. Instead of doing anything else productive, you're sitting on fucking social media.
Trump has been saying for years, for decades, that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. Bombing their nuclear plant is something President Trump said he would do if he ever found out that they had nuclear weapons. That's exactly what he did. He's following through, and this is what good leadership looks like. He's not starting a war, he's not joining a war, and he's not going to fund a war.
Donald Trump bombed those locations for no reason. No reason at all. So Bloomberg stated that on June 21st, Iran state TV reported not only evacuating the personnel from the three sites in advance, they also relocated all of their stockpiles to secure locations. Now, I am completely against the United States bombing a country without congressional approval. That is very authoritarian of him. But yes, that is screams dictator. But if you're going to post on social media and give them, hey, 2-week notice, before you even posted that, they probably had already started packing stuff up. And the reason why I say that, the nuclear stockpiles were evacuated to avoid radiation after U.S. airstrikes, although there was no specific dates on when this stuff was relocated. So not only did we just bomb sites that had nothing at it, but now it's going to give them an excuse to continue putting boots on the ground, continue bombing the country.
Democrats are crying unconstitutional because Donald Trump dropped bunker busters on Iranian nuclear sites. Give me a break. Let me break this down slowly for the Democrats in the back. The Constitution makes one person commander-in-chief, the President of the United States. That means Trump has the authority, the duty, to protect American lives and interests. He doesn't need to hold a group therapy session with the squad every time our enemies move a missile. Iran has been funding terrorism, attacking our allies, building nukes underground, and Trump acted. He didn't declare war, he launched targeted military action, just like Obama did in Libya, just like Biden did in Syria. Funny how it's only a constitutional crisis when Trump takes action. Article 2, Section 2, folks, look it up. The power is his, and when our enemies are planning death, destruction, and mushroom clouds, the president doesn't need permission to protect this country. Trump acted decisively, legally, and in America's best interest. That's called leadership.
Iran has been bombed, and Trump just said now is the time for peace. This is not a drill. Donald Trump just posted that the United States launched a successful military strike on 3 nuclear sites in Iran. The name of those sites are Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. He says all planes have exited Iranian airspace and that a full payload of bombs hit Fordow. And then he said, now is the time for peace. That is what he is calling this, peace, after launching bombs across sovereign borders in what could easily trigger a regional war. There is no word yet from the Pentagon, no televised address, just posts on social media announcing a major escalation that could define the next decade. I know that this is hard to hear, and it's hard to say, but you deserve to know the truth, and I will keep bringing it to you.
Let me be clear. Donald Trump just launched airstrikes on Iran's nuclear facilities. Not with any congressional approval, not with any real plan, just another ego-driven decision from a man who treats war like it's a reality show ratings boost. And I don't want to hear anyone say, but he didn't declare war. That's semantics. When you bomb another country's nuclear sites, that is an act of war, full stop. Do you guys understand what this could unleash? Iran is already vowing retaliation. The region is a powder keg. U.S. troops are stationed all over the Middle East. Those are real lives now that are in the line of fire. We're talking escalation, more airstrikes, potential terrorist reprisals, oil price spikes, possible cyber attacks on U.S. infrastructure. Guys, this isn't just some decisive action. This is reckless. And for what?
Turns out that there is something that the very America First Trump base will turn on him for. So let me get this straight, Santa. And yes, I'm wearing a mask. All of the MAGA influencers that are supposedly America First are crying and whining and throwing a tantrum and wanting to go to war with Iran because they're mad that Trump is negotiating directly with Hamas. What happened to that Kim Jong-un energy? Right? What happened to that Putin energy? When Trump talked directly to Kim Jong-un and to Putin, you guys said that that was great because you're anti-war and America first. And you praised him for being willing to use diplomacy even amongst the people that the international community or the West says, oh, you shouldn't talk to. But now that he's talking to Hamas directly, you have a problem with that and you're crying and you're trying to undermine him.
Everybody that voted for Trump needs to be on the front line. What y'all thought he was gonna come in here and do? You white supremacists who strive off of racism and hate. Bro, we in 2025. That shit don't fly no more. America don't run shit except they own American citizens. I get it. We got a strong military and salute to our troops, man. I'm praying for y'all through this war. This is not a shot to y'all.
If and when U.S. soldiers die in the Middle East, that is on MAGA, that is on any Trumpy, that is you who was standing on your vote when you saw these deportations happening. Are you still happy with your vote? America first, you quite literally voted for this. When U.S. soldiers die in the Middle East, that is on you.
Well, there you go, all you Republicans and everyone who supported Trump during his election and said that he was going to be the anti-war president. He bombs Iran without congressional approval. And it's probably about to take us to war. So, love that for us.
Another reason why I'm not scared of this is because Twitter is banned in Iran. Nobody can use Twitter. And why would they just write this in English? I came to realize that you guys aren't scared. You guys just want to be scared. You guys want to be dramatized. Because y'all thought the Iranian government allows them to... Why would they tweet it? Everyone would feel it. Nobody thought about, oh, that don't make no sense.
Trump just bombed Iran without a vote. No Congress, no consent. And Brad Sherman just nodded along like a loyal little lapdog. We're running for Congress in the 32nd District because we will not sit back and let this happen.
So he did it. He bombed Iran. He just couldn't say no to his masters over in Israel. Seriously, what do they have on these politicians? If a single American is hurt or worse, this will be on Trump. This is the same orange fatball who was crying treason when Biden pulled out of Afghanistan. I hope his bootlickers keep that same energy now.
Donald Rontavious Trump, I know you did not just bomb them damn folks. Now North Korea calling. No, go ahead, pick up the phone. We here now.
You want to piss off MAGA? Remind them that the U.S. intelligence agencies just came out with a report that the bombing of Iran's nuclear facilities only set them back a few months. That'll probably make that red hat of theirs tighten up and cut off the circulation to their brains. Meanwhile, Donald Trump got to change the subject one more time. Why? Because his domestic policies suck and he knows it. His one big beautiful bill is tanking in the Senate. His immigration policies are pissing off over half the country. He's made enemies of all of our allies with his ridiculous tariffs. And quite frankly, I don't think most people like Donald Trump anymore. So now he gets to go to NATO and hobnob with some of the intelligent world leaders. Good luck with that, Mr. Trump. I'm sure you'll piss them off too.
Now turning on Donald Trump over what he's doing in the Middle East with possibly going to war with Iran. Under his unconditional surrender post earlier today on Truth Social, some of the top replies are not good for him. For example, this one, whatever happened to no new wars and staying out of other countries' problems? Other comments saying, you said no more endless wars. What the F are you doing, bro? This one says, we didn't vote for another bloodbath in the Middle East. The American people are done with endless wars. If Trump wants to keep his supporters, he better focus on de-escalating the Iran-Israel crisis, not dragging us into another disastrous war on terror. Enough is enough.
Let's clear that up right now. Trump did not get us into a war. Trump, as the commander-in-chief, has the authority to conduct airstrikes and military operations. This is just a fact. So it's crazy to me how people are saying, oh, Trump dropping a few bombs on Iran constitutes us being in war now. When back in 2016 alone, then President Barack Obama dropped 26,171 bombs himself. But Democrats always say Obama never got us into any foreign wars. Make that make sense to me.
Can somebody please let Iran know that we spend $1 trillion a year on our military? We won both of the world wars. We have the world's largest air force in the United States Air Force. We also have the second largest air force in the world in the United States Army. And the guy who leads all of this has been shot. He has 34 felonies and 3 baby mamas.
Just so we're all clear, America's about to go to war with a country that has 0 nuclear weapons. 0, none. No matter what they tell you, this has been public information that they're expecting you not to know or look for. We are going to war with Iran, a country that barely makes up a fraction of the US. Barely 2 Texases. That is the country that Trump is calling a pressing threat. It's also a bold-faced lie, because what other country do we know has grievances, issues with Iran? Israel. Israel has been trying to get us in this fight for 35 years. For all the American isolationists, this is their fight, not ours. This war is not going to help you or save you. It's definitely not protecting you. This is money coming out of your taxpayer dollars to fund pew-pew-pewing of men, women, and children across the globe. That's what's going on. Do not let Trump or anyone else tell you that this war is going to save you or help you or that it's necessary. It's never been necessary. I'm on the train right now, but please do not be stupid. This is literally ridiculous. And it's a product of miseducation and miscommunication. This never had to be the outcome. Ever.
If I could take a moment to tell all the Trump supporters who bitched at me in the ramp up to the last election that Donald Trump was the candidate of peace. Fuck you guys. You fucking gullible idiots. One of the problems with Trump supporters turning a blind eye to every bad, evil thing Trump does is he still does the thing. And then he gets away with it because you people look off to the side or you just live in a delusion where it never happened. And the thing is, every time he gets away with it, he gets emboldened. So he takes bigger and bigger steps. You know, it started small with a bunch of scam bullshit, and then he was separating families, and then he's ignoring constitutional rights, and then he's moving soldiers into American cities, against the wishes of the governor. Now he's fucking bombing Iran, and every one of you microcephalic morons told me running up to the election with marbles in your fucking mouth, well, you libs just want to endless war. He's a candidate of peace. And then he waddles into office threatening Greenland, threatening fucking the Panama Canal.
I kept hoping that Trump was going to be smart and was going to make a deal with Iran, but no, instead he just bombed Iran, putting the U.S. directly involved in a war with Iran on behalf of Israel. no congressional approval, and you know the Constitution says that it is only Congress that can get the U.S. involved in war, no Security Council resolution, which means it is totally illegal according to international law. We have seen where this goes. We saw it in the case of Iraq. We saw it in the case of Afghanistan. We saw it in the case of Libya. Nothing good comes out of U.S. intervention in other countries' internal affairs. It is morally, legally, and totally against our interest, and totally against international law, and totally against the interests of the Iranian people who are terrified. And this is going to be very bad for Israel in the long run. And let's not forget, Iran does not have nuclear weapons. Israel has nuclear weapons. Israel has perhaps up to 400 nuclear weapons. Israel is the one that attacked Iran unprovoked. Iran does not threaten the United States. Iran has never threatened the United States. It's the United States that has interfered directly in Iran's internal affairs for decades, including in 1953 when we overthrew their democratically elected government. We have to stop this madness. We need to make 3 demands. Stop all military intervention in Iran. Stop support for Israel's military intervention in Iran. Return to the negotiating table immediately to come up with an Iran nuclear deal. Period.
America just bombed Iran. We dropped bunker busters on Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. So America has attacked Iran. The person who did that is Donald J. Trump, an utter fraud. He ran as anti-war and then started a war. So I'm going to do a very long live on this right now with all the details of how Iran might retaliate, and they will retaliate. Nobody gets attacked and doesn't counterattack. Our troops are sitting ducks. They're sitting there waiting to get killed, so we get dragged further into the war, and then Israel can say, ha ha, we got you all the way into this war, and now you got to fight it for us. So that's what Donald Trump did. What a fraud. So we have attacked Iran. Iran will probably counterattack against our troops who do not have Iron Dome, unlike Israel.
I have one question. What about those eggs? Y'all remember that? What about the cost of eggs in the United States? What about the cost of gas? What about the cost of life itself in this nation? Donald Trump said that if Kamala Harris became president, we would be at war within 6 months. Homeboy, you did it in 5. Donald Trump said that on day 1, as a matter of fact, before he even became president, he said the war between Russia and Ukraine would be at an end. The war is still raging. And now, we just bombed 3 nuclear facilities in Iran. When the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, came out in March to members of Congress and said, Iran is nowhere near a nuclear weapon. Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, has been saying for over 30 years, Iran is making a nuclear weapon. And there has yet to be an iota of evidence to prove that. An iota. This is no different than George Bush's whole campaign on Iraq having a nuclear weapon, weapons of mass destruction. And turns out the whole thing was a lie. And now, our service members in the Middle East are at risk because we're getting involved in foreign wars, which Donald Trump said he would not do. This was Israel's fight, and it should have been left to Israel. I just say again, what about those eggs? Where did that go? There was all this talk about Kamala Harris starting a war. What is this? We're supposed to be cutting government spending. Now we're dropping bombs that are worth $18 million each. We're almost $40 trillion in debt. Going back to the Middle East, where I thought a lesson was learned, and a hard-fought lesson. This is utter madness.